name is Natalia, and today we will paint with you a spring postcard with tulips in loose style. For this lesson we will need a watercolor paper. I have this Fabriano watercolor paper 300 GSM called pressed. This is a paper with a pronounced texture. I like the way how watercolor painting look on this paper. Also we will need 2 colors of watercolor paints. I have this permanent magenta and soft green hues from Winsor & Newton. And we will need a round brush. I will paint with this Escoda Versatile synthetic round brush number 6. And of course, don't forget to take with you in our watercolor journey a portion of a good mood. We're starting to work on a project with a quick brainstorming on the spring theme. Let's write down what comes first to your mind when you think about spring. Let's put all these associations on a paper and let's try to combine them in one picture. I will draw a few examples and you can create your own. For today's lesson, I choose a heart-shaped bouquet of tulips. We start to make a pencil drawing on a blank sheet of paper. We need to fix the sheet of paper on the surface. We will not have a full background fill in this lesson, so you can fix only the corners. Before we begin the work with watercolors, I want to talk about some important things about loose watercolor technique. I think this technique is perfect for beginners. It's simple, it's beautiful, there are almost no rules and a lot of freedom. The very first thing that we start before painting is to look at the original of a flower on a photo or in a real life. This is necessary to analyze the object of painting. We should pay attention to the shape, color and proportions. This is important. These are the features that allow us to identify an object when we look at it. Let's try to make sketches on a draft first, for a better understanding of flower shape. We will make sketches with a pencil and then with a watercolor. So this is a tulip. The tulip has a stem and a flower bud. The bud has an oval shape, and the leaves have an elongated shape. Next, let's try to make a sketch with watercolor. I used 2 colors today. These are permanent magenta and soft green shades of Winsor & Newton. If we look at the color wheel, we can see that these colors are located opposite of each other. As we learned from my previous lesson, this is the complementary color scheme. What we should keep in mind when we create a picture of a tulip with watercolors? Of course, we should think about volume and shape, background and foreground, and about perspective. So, the volume is formed by light. On the one side, the flower will be more illuminated, on the other side, less illuminated. Foreground and background is formed by saturation. Foreground colors will be more saturated, background colors will be less saturated. The perspective is formed by the size of the image elements. So, the flowers in the picture located closer to us will be larger in size, and the flowers located further will be smaller in size. We will try to remember about all of these features when we will create our spring postcard. Combination of these factors will help us to create beautiful painting. Next step, we draw the heart shape, which we will fill with tulip flowers. To draw a symmetrical shape, you can cut out a heart shape from a square sheet of paper. Fold the sheet in half, draw a half of the heart shape and cut along this contour. Then we outline the resulting shape on the main sheet. If you find it difficult to fill this form with flowers without going beyond the boundaries, you can use masking fluid. Apply masking fluid using only a synthetic brush and wash the brush thoroughly with soap and water after use. Masking fluid is very aggressive medium and quickly spoils the brush. Apply masking fluid only on dry paper and remove it from the paper only after it's completely dry. So let's start the work with watercolor. You can draw a flower arrangement inside the form with a pencil or work without a pencil sketch if you feel confident. I start painting with larger flowers in the foreground and then I will add details in the background until I fill out the whole heart shape. Don't forget about the volume, the background and the foreground and perspective, which we talked about earlier. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Happy painting!